fish on. First guest of the year. Hang on, bud, I'm gonna let you go. Black sea bass. What the heck has he got there in his stomach? I think he's got an eel in there, believe it or not. He's got a freaking eel. It's weird. Check that. Yeah, you can have your supper back, bro. I don't want it. Little sub-legal. Start the show. First black sea bass of the year, too. We'll let him go. Well, welcome y'all. That was fun. Just set up, rod goes down. I could tell he was small at the beginning, but fish am fish. And my name is Paul K. This is Saturday Mornings Outdoors. We're on the Cape Cod Canal and we're after striped bass. And this place absolutely is a natural wonderland. As I was just walking up to my spot an hour or two ago, and I heard this crash. I thought someone was fishing a few, you know, a couple hundred yards away from me and cast a lure into the water. And I look into the water, and it's just like a painting. This massive tail flip out of the water, and bait just comes out of it. It's still like a still painting, a tail out of the water, like a whale's fluke, and like 15 little baitfish jumping out of it. Absolutely stunning. It's just so different every time. It's so different, and it's so wonderful. As September, we get into it now, the migration is going to start, and we're going to see all kind of aquatic wildlife coming through here. Usually the big stuff comes through this type of year, whales and sharks and molas and every kind of ocean going fish. That rod looks like it's kind of ready to pop. But welcome, my friends, to another edition, and let's see how the canal treats us this week. A lot of wildlife. There's the Cape Cod choo-choo going by. Starting to see definite fall migration patterns starting to happen. I'll see like 15 of those terns or seagulls, and they pod up and they just float with the current, and then they kind of all fly up again and they start back over like a assembly line, like that. Like they just keep going like that, which means there's consistent bayfish being pushed up from the bottom and surfacing, and they know where the see, there's the whole crew right there, and it's definite fall pattern starting to show here at the canal. So this is a very cool scenario here this morning. It's a breaking tide, and a full-on breaking tide. It's just a day or two after the full moon. And I saw the first little sliver of after the new moon, I saw the first little sliver last night, and it's low tide at dawn, and there's a lot of cars parked along the canal here hoping for the breaking fish. In that situation, there's the least amount of water in the canal, and the fish push the bait up to the surface and they're breaking on top. So everyone throws top water lures and usually scores really heavily, and this is called breaking tides. And when you get the tide chart from the visitor center, or you get any kind of tide chart, if you want to spend the money on an Eldridge tide chart. I don't know why you'd want to, because whoop, there's some bird action over here. This place is alive, man. You can get them free at the Army Corps of Engineers, and so you go through each month in the spring after you get the chart, and you circle all the breaking tides, when the full moons are, when the new moons are, and then you just pick your what you want to fish, the best looking tides for you. And so today happens to be a breaking tide. This is an east tide that we're fishing, just turned east maybe an hour ago. There's a guy waiting over there fishing. He's in the canal. Like I said, it's a brand new moon, and temperature is about 72 right now. It's overcast. They say the sun's going to come out, and it got really clammy overnight. Very, very humid now. Extremely humid. It's not hot or warm even, but it's humid. And wind is in the summer southwest pattern, and we're at around 11 miles per hour. And those are the conditions. And it looks like a receding fog here in the canal, but they say this will burn off, and I believe them. It feels like it. Yesterday was a bluebird day, and so when you see the rod tip moving like that, that's nothing. That's the tide is catching it. The tide's starting to pick up now. It just came after slack, and that's just an adjustment on the bottom. The sinker is bouncing. The sinker is bouncing along the bottom, and then it'll find a spot to stop, and then your bait will be flowing out with the current. And there we go. There's birds working here. This is definitely the fall pattern here. Tons of birds here. This is exciting. This thing comes alive. It's a living thing. I had zoom. There's a topwater blitz right here. There's 1,000 birds. If you can see them, if this camera can pick them up. The current's going this way, so it's going to come down this way. There's 1,000 birds all. See them there? Hope to get some blitz action on camera. So these birds can see overhead the pot of bait fish, and we can't see from our angle, but when the fish push them up to the surface from the bottom, those bait fish have no escape. I mean, it's just everything wants them. It's the food chain. And there's a little touch on this rod, but the fish, the bigger the stripers or whatever, are feeding from them below, and the birds are getting them from the top. So that's why they school. So just hope it ain't you that the fish or the bird isn't zeroed in on. It is fall. And remember what we talked about a few weeks ago, those smaller terns? That's what that is. Look at them. There's a couple hundred of them there. Those are the telltale ones. The big white gulls, the laughing seagulls, and the regular seagulls you see on the seashore, they're all right, but those, when you see those smaller terns, those are the telltale ones. They're staging right over there, so apparently there's a lot of blitz in here. There it is. Look at this. That guy, there's a guy right there, and it's right in front of him. I hope he catches. That is so amazing. These birds are on it, man. It's just alive, man. It's just alive. When you come here and you see this at this stage, look at them. Look at that. I hope it happens right in front of me so I can get it in film. It's just such a cool feeling. This is like paradise. One of the best fishing spots on the planet. It's unbelievable. Look at them. Those are the small terns I've been telling you about too. See them all. Amazing. Man, this place is crazy today. You can't take your eyes off it. There's huge tail slaps and busts, topwater busting, and it's crazy. Where's all the bite guys? That's what they dream about. I don't see anyone. there's a lot of fishermen here, but I don't know, they must be on fish elsewhere, but tons of life here today. Unfreaking believable. Loud tail slaps like someone threw a cinder block in the water. You can see them, you know, when they bust on top. I'm trying to get one so you can see it. You could see the tail slaps, you know, and they're trying to stun the fish. The stripers are trying to stun the smaller bait fish when you hear that slap. Diving duck right there, cormorant. Just wow, that's all I can say. Right there, you can see it. Look at that, man. It's so cool. They're busting everywhere. See, that's what the bite guys live for, but they're not on it. They must be on it somewhere, but or they're not paying attention. There's a lot of cars I see parked when I came in, but topwater blitzifying. Cape Cod Canal, best fishing spot in the East Coast, easily. It's a crazy, crazy place. So I got a question this week, well, over the week, and a viewer wanted to ask, do I use fluorocarbon on my leaders? And when fluorocarbon first came out a few years ago, I was enthralled with it like everyone else. Still, people are still into it. You know, some guys swear by it and all that. You know what? I fooled with it, tested it out. It is absolutely invisible underwater. It is, even the heavy stuff. It's the composition of it, but in my opinion, it's, after using it, the price is prohibitive. It's at least $20 for 30 yards, right? And it goes up, you know, really quality stuff, 40, 50. And if some guys spool their lines with it, you know, I mean, spool their reels with it, you know, that's outrageous. No way. It's, you know, $80 to, so anyway, the price, number one, no. And two, I mean, I bought a few spools and I used it over the years, and it's invisible as claimed, but its knot holding capabilities are horrible. It's too stiff. That's one. You know, I use the improved clinch knot, and in my only leader, that's the only time I would use it, but improved clinch knot and the snell, and it just doesn't work for either. You know, the snell on the hook and the improved clinch on the swivel, and it's when there's a touch. By the way, I had a slamming hit a little while ago, but it didn't catch. But anyway, so it doesn't hold knots well. You know, I like to clip my knots up close to the knot, really snug it down tight, but if you don't clean the tag end of the knot, fishing in salt water, especially in here where there's a lot of seaweed, that will catch every little bit of seaweed. So no, that's not. Fluoro versus carbon loses again. That's the second strike. And the third strike is absolutely nicks up immediately. I mean, you know, it's regular monofilament just blows it away. I don't see any advantage other than invisibility. Everything else is a disadvantage. You know, price-wise, the nicks, you run your finger along it, the second cast that you use it, and it's got nicks on it, which tells me the line's compromised. So that's horrible. You know, I mean, you know, all that for invisibility. I know, I've said this before a long time ago on one of the shows, but, you know, if a trout can see the difference between a size 25, you know how small its size 25 hook is in fly fishing, you could fit 20 of them on my little fingernail easily, but they can discern the difference between that fly pattern. They can certainly see your leader. They just don't know what to make of it. So I don't think invisibility is that important, you know. I mean, as far as, you know, especially in salt water for stripers and all that. So I just use mono, full on mono, you know, 50-pound test for when I'm making my leaders from swivel to hook. 50-pound test is what I use. And just mono, you know, that's all. And it's cheap, and, you know, you can get bargain, you know, Walmart has 50-pound test 300-yard spools for literally $5, you know. and I wouldn't go that cheap, you know, buy good quality Stren or something, but no, I use mono, and the fluorocarbon, the only advantage its claim is invisibility, and heck no, it's way too expensive. It's way too expensive. So that's your answer. You know, pound test wise, I never did a breakage test on it. I'm sure it is what they say. 30-pound test is 30-pound test. So, but just for too many bad qualities to stick with fluoro. That's my bottom line. Big old yacht, Hilarium. That's the name of that. No clue what the purpose of that is. Whether it's commercial, it's obviously made for large capacity boat rides. And fish on, bring the ruckus. All right, ain't nothing big, but it's a striperizer. All right, let's get it back in. Scoring, and it seems that, I don't know, it's very consistent this year. Everything's all, there's nothing that I've caught over 34 inches. 34 is my biggest this year. Very strange, but everything is from 26 to 34, it seems. A lot of slots, and the current is absolutely ripping now, and which magnifies the fight. That was fun. But yeah, Rips is building up. You can see the white line up there, up top there. And we are on the boards. And it's, well, we're on the boards with the black sea bass, but you know what I mean. The canal is alive. If you have any urges, get on down. If not, stick around. I'll take you with me. The usual. And another one. What the hell, I lost the fishing hook. I thought for sure I broke my leg on that one. It happened to me once before. I was hunting and I was cutting through a swampy area towards water. I was coming downhill and I didn't see a log. And the rule of thumb is, as a true woodsman, you never go over a log. You always go around if you can. But I went over it, I caught my foot, and it's like in slow motion. You see your body going down, and to break your fall, you naturally either put your arm out there or something. And I thought, before I even hit that log, or the ground rather, I'm gonna break my arm because of the nature of the fall. You got the momentum going. You know all your body weight's going on your arm, and your arm can't sustain that. It's gonna break. And it didn't break. And it's the same what just happened there. The clumsiest fall. That was my worst fall ever. I'm gonna have a massive bruise on my leg. I'm just so happy. It's only pain. I can handle it. But man, that sucked. What the hell? It's part of it. You have to be careful. This stuff happens, right? I waited so long on the fish. Somehow he unhooked. But I'd rather just try to recover here. I'm gonna have a massive welt right here. It's gonna be black and blue. I'll show it to you later probably. I am just thankful. That split second that says in your head, you screwed up, buddy, your leg's busted. And this top part of your leg, that's a big bone. But it didn't break. I wins again. They're gonna find me dead someday. There's nothing uncut. It's unadulterated. It's freaking humor. But it's part of fishing. So you saw it, folks. To be honest, I'm glad I got it on film, but it's more embarrassing than it is painful. And I'm sure there's going to be a massive grapefruit-sized welt there. That was a serious bang, but it's part of fishing, and I love laughing at myself. I mean, it's just stuff happens. I'll tell you, they're going to drag me out of here one day or somewhere. And please don't mention corkers. I know, I get it. I'm trying to film. The fish is on. They're heavy fish. They're pulling me while I'm on slippery rocks. And I'm concentrating on getting down to the landing area. The rocks are slippery, and the fish is pulling you. So this is the conundrum. This is what you got to deal with, And being a surfer, I have pretty good balance, but sometimes crap happens. It's kind of a weird yacht. Like, it looks like the yacht on the bottom, and then like the Jetson Space Mobile landed on top of it. That's a bizarre shape. I don't know what's the point of those wings. I don't know. Anyway, I gotta go to the hospital. See ya. No, I'm only kidding. Well, I'm kind of glad the fog didn't burn off. It's still pretty comfortable right now. But the usual, the bait's getting low, the wind's picking up. It's comfortable. So, so thanks for showing up for this portion. Hope you got a laugh or two, you bastards. No, but on a serious note, so if you're from away, or if you're coming down here and you're not an experienced fisherman, I mention all the time during the summertime the best bites are at night. I'm here before dawn usually, and I've been doing this my whole life, and you see there is danger here. These rocks, I mean, you can have the best equipment on the planet, but you're gonna fall. It's part of it. And if you're coming at nighttime, especially alone, which is not a problem, but don't attempt to go at nighttime. You see, this is daylight, and stuff like that can happen. Just you see it with your own eyes, the hazards that are here. It's fun. It normally doesn't happen. It'll happen once every 100 or 200 trips, and but it's part of fishing. But at nighttime, you can get seriously in trouble here. If you fall in that water and that water's cranking like it is, if you fall right here out 5 or 10 feet, you'll not a problem. But if you fall away and that current's cranking, you're going down that way somehow. And if you're hurt badly, you're gonna have issues. You're gonna have big problems. So, and it'll be nighttime. So, bottom line is, it's not ultra dangerous here, but there is danger here. So it's daytime, it's not a problem. Very rarely will you slip and fall like that, but at nighttime, make sure you're an experienced surf fisherman that is used to fishing on rocks at night before you venture down here. Don't even think about coming down here your first 15 times at nighttime, because that's what you got to deal with. It's not rocket science. You can figure it out. You will figure it out the first time you venture onto those rocks. It's part of the hazard of fishing along the canal, but the rewards are well worth it. As you see, show after show after show. Don't let that deter you. It's not that dangerous. It's just that it can happen, that stuff. So, just like anything else, you can get out of bed and trip and fall and break your arm, or you can, a million ways to die. So, actually, to be honest with you, one of the coolest ways to die would be right here on the canal. That's probably the best you could hope for, and you'd go quick like that. Other than suffering in a hotel room or a hospital room somewhere for 8 months, a poop factory. So if we got to go, you might as well go out in a blaze of flame. So we'll see you at Spotcheck, and thanks for showing up, and see ya. Wonder what's going on here. So that's the police. This boat's slowing down. I don't know, for some reason he wants the boat to I don't know, he's just stopped there with his lights on. Maybe there's a whale or something, who knows. Oh, there's a blitz right here, but the cops are there. I'm wondering if it's a whale, because they'll make sure the whale has right of way or something. But you know, I think you're supposed to say 500 yards or from any whale or something. It might be there's some type of aquatic creature that he's protecting. I don't see nothing. Alright folks, welcome to this week's spot check. And we do this every week for visitors and people that just want to learn the canal. You go to the visitor center at either end of the canal and they'll give you a free fishing map, or you can go to Red Top Sporting Goods and Cape or Canal Bait and Tackle and they'll sell you a really good fishing map. And you follow along. There's poles along here. They're all numbered. And you match the poles with the numbers, and those where the holes are, the good fishing spots. Before I get started, I'd like to give a big shout out to a really heck of a nice guy. His name's Len Dog. Len Dog! And good luck with the fantasy football. And we were talking in one of the parking lots about the upcoming or the season that fishing that we had, and he's a heck of a nice guy. And just like to say hi to you, bro, and hope you caught some fish today. Alright, so we are at pole 140. Alright, and of course this is the Sagamore Bridge, the Sagamore Bridge. And just like the Bourne Bridge, on either side of these pylons the tides have worn out holes on that side here and on that side there behind those trees. So depending upon what tide it is, like the tide is heading east, you would fish here in this hole. The fish are staging head into the current, right, and bait or whatever is going to be drifting by, and they just dash out, just like in a stream, like stream fishing. And that is if you can't catch fish here, you don't know what you're doing, man. I mean, these are fully structured and very easy to fish, and always has fish here. And if you're here at night, a huge tip for any of these bridges is the shadow line. So whatever the light, the ambient light, if there's a moon and light from the canal along these canal, there's lights here that shines into the water, you'll see a line, just like looking at my fisherman shadow. There's the shadow line, then there's daylight. The fish wait right along in the shadows on the edge, and the bait fish that swim by, the fish just dash out, grab the bait, and get back in the shadows. It's a great ambush point. Well, that's what they do along here. You can see somewhat subtly the shadows on the pylon, but that transfers into the water, especially at night, especially a moonlit night, and especially where there's lights that are shining on the water, and it's a killer fish spot. And that goes for any bridge anywhere too. And there's other areas, Hull Gut on their fishing pier, that's the same way at night, and they specifically put lights on a lot of these piers to create those shadow lines and attract bait, and the fish do hide in those lines. So this is a obvious spot to fish, and it's pole 140, the Sagamore Bridge. And that would be it for this week's spot check. And I hope you were entertained by this episode as I limp along. I'm fine, and hopefully you'll tune in next week and come along with me. But it's better off if you come down here. It's really great fishing here. It's a wonderful spot. So with that, thanks guys and girls. Please like and subscribe, and please don't forget to say your prayers. And we'll see you next week.